died tragically at the age of 32.
It was total shock. I mean, how could that be?
On the unfortunate day of July 20th, 1973, the global community was left in shock as news broke about the untimely demise of martial arts maestro Bruce Lee. He was 30 then and had died just 6 days before the premiere of Enter the Dragon.
Warner Brothers presents Enter the Dragon,
a film that would make him the first Chinese actor to become a Hollywood star. A 2018 biography by Matthew A. Polly states that on July 20th, 1973, Lee complained of having a headache. He took the painkiller Equagesic and then went to take a nap. While the official reason for death was cerebral edema, a swarm of questions and outlandish theories swirled around his final moments. Was it indeed a tragic accident or something sinister? Soon after, gossip was going around Hong Kong that the Bruce family was hiding something and that there had been proof of drugs and a woman.
The official cause of death, a fatal reaction to aspirin.
These are just a few of the conspiracy theories and likelihoods surrounding Bruce Lee's death. People continue to talk about these tales and grieve upon the legend's demise, as the official death reason is as fishy as it can be. Now, this episode will dive into the plethora of questions and conspiracy theories that challenge the official narrative.
But that's not what happened.
Prompting us to ponder whether it was a tragic accident or more frightening occurrence and the real reason behind Bruce Lee's death. What exactly happened? Please stick with us to find out. Bruce Lee's legacy, born on November 27, 1940, in San Francisco, outperformed the realm of martial arts, encompassing his roles as an actor, director, and martial arts luminary. Bruce Lee's birth name was Lee Jun-fan. The journey of his parents, Lee Hui-chuan, a Cantonese opera singer based in Hong Kong, and Grace Ho, who was of Eurasian ancestry, went back to Hong Kong shortly after, when he was just 4 months old and set the stage for an extraordinary life. Lee's parents were on an international opera tour in Chinatown, San Francisco, when he was born, which allowed him to claim U.S. citizenship under U.S. law. Following Japan's surprise attack on Hong Kong in December 1941, the Lee family experienced unexpected hardships during World War II, when Japan ruled the city for 4 years. Due to his father's fame as a Cantonese opera singer, Lee had the opportunity to see movies at an early age, and went on to feature in a number of them. His first role was as a baby in the film Golden Gate Girl. He took on the name Lee, the Little Dragon, because he was born in the year and the hour of the dragon in the Chinese zodiac. He went to Tak Sun School and then joined Catholic La Salle's College Primary Division at age 12. By the age of 18, he had already seen 20 films. In 1956, Lee's poor academic performance and behavior led to his transfer to St. Francis Xavier's College. Brother Edward Muss, a teacher and the school's boxing team coach, served as his mentor there. In 1958, Lee appeared victorious in the Hong Kong school boxing contest, defeating the previous winner, Gary Elms, in the final. He also showcased his talents as a cha-cha dancer and won Hong Kong's Crown Colony Cha-Cha Championship in the same year. Bruce's remarkable martial arts talents and charismatic existence caught the attention of Hollywood. He landed roles in TV shows like The Green Hornet and movies like Fists of Fury and Return of the Dragon, which catapulted him to global stardom. Bruce Lee's movies showcased martial arts in a way never seen before, combining thrilling action with intellectual themes. He broke stereotypes and paved the way for Asian actors in Hollywood.
As an actor, as a martial artist, as a human being, all these I have learned from martial art.
Lee was married to Linda Emery Lee Cadwell from 1964 to 1973. They met when they were both students at the University of Washington, and Lee and Linda were married just a few months after they got a degree. They had 2 children together, Brandon and Shannon. Bruce and Linda's marriage had its challenges. Bruce was devoted to his work, often spending long hours working out and filming, which periodically made Linda feel neglected. However, they adored and admired each other, and together they overcame these challenges. The month of July 1973 found Bruce Lee engrossed in the dubbing process for Enter the Dragon. Amidst the demands of his burgeoning international career, Lee complained of a headache, which led to the administration of a painkiller by actress Betty Ting Pei. Little did anyone anticipate that this seemingly routine event would foreshadow a tragic turn of events.
He would just confront Raymond and say, okay, I'm seeing in the trades the movie's made this much money. Where's mine?
The dawn of July 20th unfolded with an unexpected twist, because at 8:30 a.m., Bruce Lee woke up and did his morning exercises for about 45 minutes. He would stretch, do cardio on a homemade stationary bike, practice Jeet Kune Do, and lift weights. His mornings were intense, but never too exhausting. At 10:30 a.m., Lee arrived at the Golden Harvest to work on the script of The Game of Death, with Raymond Chow his best friend. Somewhere around that time, Lee ate a small amount of hash as he believed cannabis expanded his consciousness. At 1 p.m., Bruce Lee got into his red Mercedes-Benz and drove to 67 Beacon Hill Road, where his mistress Betty Ting Pei, a 26-year-old Taiwanese actress whom Raymond Chow had introduced to Bruce, lived in a one-bedroom apartment on the second floor. Apparently, not many people knew about the relationships that Bruce was having on the side. At 6 p.m., Bruce complained of having a headache when Raymond Chow arrived at Betty's apartment to pick up Bruce and Betty for dinner. At 7:30 p.m., it was time to leave. Bruce's headache only worsened. Betty gave Bruce an Equagesic pill, which is a pretty standard prescription pain medication, and Bruce said that he would like to rest. At 7:45 p.m., Raymond Chow leaves for dinner, but when Lee did not come for dinner, Chow reached the flat but could not wake Lee up. A doctor was called and spent 10 minutes trying to regain consciousness of Lee before sending him by ambulance to Queen Elizabeth Hospital. Lee was announced dead on arrival at the age of 32. 3 days after Lee's death, an autopsy was done on his body for the sake of a police investigation and Linda's wishes. After Lee was identified by brother Peter, Dr. R.R. Lissette declared that Lee's body was a well-built Chinese guy of nearly 30 years of age and 172 centimeters in length. He further disclosed that the post-mortem found no evidence of foul play. There were no contusions or fractures on the cranium or scalp, and also his blood vessels to the brain appeared normal. However, irregularities found in Lee's body were congestion in the lungs, intestines, and kidneys, and bulging in the brain. He added, "The brain is agitated beneath the covering dura. The brain weighs 1,575 grams. An ordinary brain weighs up to 1,400 grams." And then at last, he concluded that congestion and brain edema were the causes of death. Now, the first theory suggests that Lee died of hypersensitivity to Equagesic, a pain medication. This theory is supported by Lee taking Equagesics before his death. However, there were no typical signs of overdose observed in Lee, and a toxicology report found no evidence of Equagesic in his system. However, according to a different theory, Mattia, an Italian, Chinese, or American man, killed Lee. This assumption is based on the claim that Lee had terrorized Mattia shortly before his death. However, there is no proof to endorse this claim, and no physical damages were found on Lee's body. A third theory suggests that Lee died due to cannabis usage. The discovery of marijuana in Lee's stomach following his death lends credence to his theory, but it's crucial to remember, though, that Lee did not exhibit any additional symptoms of cannabis intoxication, and that oral cannabis consumption was unlikely result of acute intoxication. But the fourth theory muses that Lee died of heat stroke. The high temperature on the day of Lee's death lends some credibility to the story. However, it's worth mentioning that the temperature on that day was within the normal range for Hong Kong, and Lee did not show any other indication of heat stroke. A fifth theory suggested that Lee died of an epileptic attack. Lee's history of epilepsy certainly supports this theory, but there is no proof that Lee had a seizure before his death, and he was taking medicine to control his epilepsy. Now, the final theory suggests that Lee died due to an allergic response to cocaine. Lee's request for cocaine just before he passed away supports this theory. However, there is no proof to suggest that Lee was allergic to cocaine, and a toxicology statement did not detect any cocaine in his system. Now, while the sudden and tragic death of Bruce Lee in 1973 sparked numerous conspiracy theories and assumptions, there wasn't an actual trial related to his passing. However, the aftermath was still filled with inquiries and controversy. Despite the initial rumors and skepticism, no charges were ever filed against anyone in connection with Bruce Lee's death. The autopsy concluded that the cause of death was cerebral edema, an allergic reaction to the painkiller Equagesic. While some questioned this conclusion, there wasn't enough evidence to pursue criminal charges. 10 days after his tragic demise on July 20, 1973, a massive funeral in Hong Kong, which revered the life and legacy of the martial arts legend Bruce Lee. On the morning of July 31st, an estimated 15,000 grievers, including family, friends, fans, and celebrities like Jackie Chan, gathered at St. Francis Xavier Church. While the ceremony was mainly for close family and friends, thousands lined the streets outside, keen to show their affection. The service was performed in both English and Cantonese. It featured a eulogy by Bruce's wife, Linda Lee Cadwell, Catholic tributes, traditional Chinese music, and even a martial arts demonstration by Shaolin monks. Following the ritual, a long parade snaked through the city, with Bruce's casket carried by loved ones and brightened with a white orchid wreath. Thousands joined, some throwing paper money and Joss paper as offerings. Flags flew at half-mast, and his heritage as a martial arts legend and cultural inspiration was cemented. Though his tomb remained unmarked for many years, a simple tombstone was ultimately placed in 2002, serving as a lasting reminder of the man who transformed the face of martial arts and cinema. Despite the debates surrounding his death, Bruce Lee's influence on martial arts, film, and popular culture remains indisputable. His groundbreaking strategy for martial arts, philosophical wisdom, and electrifying screen presence continue to encourage generations. And that concludes the story of Bruce Lee's passing, a legendary figure whose martial arts skills remain revered today. We would greatly appreciate it if you could show your support by liking this video, sharing it with others, and subscribing to our channel. Which documented event or iconic figure would you like us to explore next? Please feel free to share your recommendations down in the comments section below, and you can also share what you liked most about this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.